Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, was born in 1862 with severe deformities, leading to a life of social isolation and sideshow exploitation. Later cared for by Dr. Trevis, he lived with dignity at London Hospital until his death in 1890, symbolizing resilience and compassion. Josephine Joseph, a sideshow performer in the early 20th century, gained fame as the half-man, half-woman, presenting one masculine and one feminine side. Her act fascinated audiences and sparked debates on gender, but much of her life remains a mystery. George and Willie Muse, African-American brothers with albinism, were kidnapped as children and exploited as circus performers under degrading titles. Reunited with their mother in 1927 after years of captivity, their story highlights the racial injustices and exploitation they endured. Felix Verle, the Elastic Skin Man, amazed audiences in the early 1900s with his ability to stretch his skin due to Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. A star in Barnum and Bailey's sideshows, his unique condition blended entertainment with medical intrigue, securing his place in sideshow history. Johnny Eck, born in 1911 with caudal regression syndrome, rose to fame as a performer and actor, starring in Freaks and Tarzan films. Known for his talent and charisma, he later retired to Baltimore, pursuing art and community work. He passed away in 1991 at age 79. Stefan Bobrowski, the lion-faced man, gained fame in the early 1900s for his hypertrichosis, performing in sideshows worldwide. Known for his intellect and charm, he defied stereotypes, retiring to Germany in the 1920s. He passed away in 1932, leaving a lasting legacy. Ella Harper, the Camel Girl, gained fame in the 1880s for her unique condition, genu recurvatum, which bent her knees backward. A circus star earning $200 weekly, she retired in 1886 for a quieter life. Ella lived in Tennessee, faced personal losses, and passed away in 1921 at age 51. Martin Lorello, known as the Human Owl, amazed crowds by rotating his head nearly 180 degrees, a skill he showcased at top venues like Coney Island and Ringling Brothers. Despite his fame, his life was marked by controversy, including personal scandals and allegations of Nazi ties. Lorello performed until 1952 and died in 1955, leaving behind a legacy as a unique sideshow icon. Prince Randian, born in 1871 in British Guiana, was a performer famously known as the human caterpillar, or the living torso, due to being born without limbs. His unique condition did not hinder his self-reliance, as he mastered tasks like shaving, writing, and rolling cigarettes using only his mouth. Randian was brought to the United States in 1889 by P.T. Barnum and became a prominent figure in sideshows. Fluent in multiple languages, including English, German, and French, Randian communicated effectively with diverse audiences. His performances often highlighted his ingenuity, particularly his ability to roll and light cigarettes using his lips. In 1932, he gained additional fame for his appearance in the film Freaks, where he demonstrated his cigarette-rolling skill. Randian continued performing until his death in 1934 at the age of 63. He was survived by his wife and 5 children. His legacy remains as a testament to human resilience and adaptability. Fannie Mills, known as the Ohio Bigfoot Girl, was born in 1860 in Sandusky, Ohio. She gained fame due to her unusually large feet, attributed to a condition now recognized as Milroy disease, which causes lymphedema and swelling in the lower extremities. Her feet measured over 17 inches long, and she wore custom-made shoes. Her condition attracted attention in sideshows and traveling exhibitions. Fannie's career in sideshows was accompanied by a publicity campaign offering a significant dowry to any man willing to marry her, likely as a promotional stunt by her handlers. Despite the spectacle surrounding her appearance, Fannie married William Brown, her caretaker, and lived a quiet life outside the public eye after her sideshow days. She passed away in 1899 at the age of 39, with her legacy enduring as a reflection of the era's fascination with physical differences. Chang and Eng Bunker, the original Siamese twins, were born on May 11, 1811, in Samut Songkhram, Siam. They were conjoined twins connected at the sternum by a small band of cartilage and shared a fused liver. Despite this, they grew up healthy and strong. In 1829, a Scottish merchant brought them to the United States, where they began a career as a touring curiosity. Their unique condition and engaging personalities drew widespread attention. After years of touring, Chang and Eng settled in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, becoming U.S. citizens in 1839. They adopted the surname Bunker and became successful farmers. Remarkably, they married sisters Sarah and Adelaide Yates and had 21 children between them. The twins alternated between their families, spending 3 days at a time with each wife. In their later years, financial struggles led them to return to touring. Chang's health began to decline, and he passed away on January 17, 1874. Eng died shortly after, likely due to the shared circulatory system. Stanislaus Barent, better known as Silo the Seal Boy, was born on September 24, 1901, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He had a rare congenital condition called phocomelia, which caused underdeveloped limbs resembling flippers. Despite this, Barent lived a remarkable life as a sideshow performer, beginning his career with Ringling Brothers in Barnum and Bailey Circus in the 1920s. His unique appearance drew significant attention, and he became one of the most famous human curiosities of his time. Barent's act involved showcasing his physical differences while performing everyday tasks, demonstrating his adaptability and skill. Over decades, he worked with various circuses and sideshows, including Coney Island and Ripley's Believe It or Not. His performances often highlighted his ability to live independently, challenging societal perceptions of disability. Cialo's career spanned several decades, during which he became an iconic figure in the world of sideshow entertainment. After retiring, Barent lived quietly in New Jersey, maintaining a low profile away from the spotlight. He passed away on November 28, 1980, at the age of 70-9. His legacy endures as a testament to resilience and as a prominent figure in the history of sideshow performance, reflecting society's evolving views on physical differences. Frank Lentini, born Francesco Lentini on May 18, 1881, in Rosellini, Sicily, was a famous sideshow performer known as the Three-Legged Man. Lentini was born with a parasitic twin, resulting in a third leg, a second set of genitals, and a partially formed fourth foot attached to his body. Despite these differences, he adapted remarkably and became one of the most celebrated figures in the world of sideshows. Lentini began performing at age 8 and eventually became a headline act in major circuses, including Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. His act included using his third leg to kick a soccer ball, captivating audiences with his humor and confidence. Lentini used his platform to normalize physical differences and inspire others, often referring to his condition as a blessing. His charisma and optimism made him a popular and enduring figure. Lentini continued performing into his 60s, enjoying a long career that spanned decades and brought him international fame. He married Teresa Murray and had 4 children, living a family life outside of the spotlight. Frank Lentini passed away on September 22, 1966, in Jacksonville, Florida, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most iconic sideshow performers of his era. Mirandajo, born Arnold Gerrit Henskes on August 6, 1912, in Rotterdam, Netherlands, became famous in the 1940s for his extreme performances of piercing his body with sharp objects without apparent injury. His acts, which he attributed to spiritual enlightenment, involved skewers and swords being pushed through his torso, avoiding vital organs. Doctors who examined him were perplexed by his ability to endure these demonstrations with little physical harm, and his feats were showcased throughout Europe. Dejo claimed his abilities were proof of higher consciousness and sought to inspire spiritual awakening through his acts. Despite his fame, his practices were controversial and physically risky. In 1948, Dejo swallowed a steel needle, intending to prove his spiritual invulnerability. But complications arose, leading to his death on May 26, 1948, in Zurich, Switzerland. His legacy remains tied to debates on the limits of human endurance and spiritual belief. Clifford Thompson, born in 1904 in Rugby, North Dakota, was one of the tallest men in history, standing at 8 feet 7 inches. His extreme height was caused by a rare medical condition called gigantism. Thompson gained widespread attention during his life, performing with various circuses and sideshows, including the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. He was also known for his intelligence and versatility, earning a degree in law from Marquette University and working as a public speaker and salesman. Throughout his career, Thompson used his towering stature to promote various products and businesses, often leveraging his unique appearance for marketing campaigns. Despite his fame, he lived a relatively private life away from the spotlight. Thompson passed away in 1955 at the age of 51 due to complications related to his condition. His life remains a notable example of how individuals with unique physical characteristics navigated both personal and professional challenges in the early 20th century. Myrtle Corbin, born in 1868 in Tennessee, was known as the four-legged girl due to a rare congenital condition called dipygus. This condition caused her to be born with two separate pelvises and an additional set of underdeveloped legs. Despite her unique anatomy, Myrtle's health was unaffected, and she lived a relatively normal life. At the age of 13, she began performing in sideshows, earning significant fame and income by displaying her condition to curious audiences across the United States. Myrtle retired from public exhibitions after marrying James Clinton Bicknell at the age of 19. She went on to have 5 children, an impressive feat given her unusual anatomy. Myrtle lived a private life following her sideshow career and passed away in 1928 at the age of 59 due to a skin infection. Her life remains a topic of medical and historical interest, as well as a significant example of early sideshow performances. Isaac W. Sprague, born in 1841 in Massachusetts, became known as the living skeleton due to his extremely thin physique, a result of a medical condition that caused him to appear unusually emaciated. He stood at 6 feet tall but weighed only around 43 pounds. His appearance, combined with his ability to perform feats such as lifting heavy objects despite his frailty, led to his success in the sideshow industry during the mid-19th century. Sprague's unique body, often accompanied by his performances of strength and agility, made him a popular attraction in various circus and freak shows across the United States and Europe. Sprague's career peaked in the 1860s and 1870s when he worked with prominent circus promoters like P.T. Barnum and others in the entertainment industry. He was often advertised in circus posters and attracted large audiences due to his extreme appearance. Despite his success in the sideshow, Sprague led a quiet life after retiring from public performances and eventually passed away in 1887 at the age of 45. His life and career are notable as one of the earliest examples of people with medical conditions being showcased as part of the circus and sideshow attractions. Alice Elizabeth Doherty, known as the Minnesota Woolly Girl, was born on March 14, 1887, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She had a rare condition called hypertrichosis lanuginosa, which caused an abnormal amount of fine blonde hair to grow over her face and body. Her parents began exhibiting her in sideshows when she was just 2 years old, showcasing her unique appearance to the public. Alice's unusual condition quickly captured public attention, and she began touring across the United States. By age 5, her facial hair had grown to about 5 inches, and by her teenage years, it reached 9 inches. As Alice grew older, she continued to appear in sideshows and exhibitions. Her family managed her performances, which included appearances in storefronts and public exhibitions. Despite her fame, Alice showed no enthusiasm for the sideshow career, and she was largely presented as a curiosity due to her physical condition. Throughout her childhood and adolescence, her performances were part of a wider trend in the sideshow entertainment industry, where individuals with rare conditions were showcased for public amusement. By the time Alice was 28, she retired from the sideshow business in 1915. After her retirement, she lived a more private life in Dallas, though her personal life during this period remains largely unknown. There are limited records of her time outside of the sideshow world, and she largely disappeared from public attention. Her fame had faded by the time she retired, and there are no major reports of her involvement in any other public ventures following her exit from the entertainment industry. Alice Elizabeth Doherty passed away on June 13, 1933, at the age of 46. The cause of her death remains unspecified, and she is buried in Calvary Hill Cemetery in Dallas, Texas. While her life in the public eye was well documented during her time as a sideshow attraction, little is known about her later years. She is remembered for her participation in the entertainment world during the early 20th century, where she was known for her distinctive physical appearance due to her rare condition. Jack Earl, born in 1911, was a sideshow performer known for his exceptional height, reaching 8 feet 6 inches due to gigantism caused by a pituitary tumor. He gained fame in the 1930s, performing with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, where his size captivated audiences. Earl's extraordinary height made him one of the tallest men in the world and a prominent figure in the circus industry. After retiring in the 1940s, Earl led a more private life, working as a carpenter. He passed away in 1952 at age 41 from complications related to gigantism. Despite his early death, Jack Earl's legacy as one of the tallest men in history endures, and his life remains a testament to the fascination with individuals possessing extraordinary physical traits. Grady Stiles Jr., born in 1937, was an American sideshow performer with a rare condition called ectrodactyly, which caused deformities in his hands and feet, making them appear claw-like. He was known as the Lobster Boy due to his condition, which gave him a distinct, unusual appearance. Stiles inherited this condition from his father, Grady Stiles Sr., and he continued the family tradition of performing in circuses and carnivals, starting at a young age. His performances often featured his abilities to adapt to everyday tasks, despite his physical limitations, such as driving, walking, and performing other tricks. Stiles became a staple in the sideshow business, making appearances at prominent circuses like the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and he gained significant fame throughout the 1950s and 1960s. His condition made him a major attraction, and his family also performed in the sideshow business, creating a legacy for the Stiles family. Beyond his career in the circus world, Grady Stiles Jr. had a troubled personal life marked by violence and criminal activity. He was convicted of the 1978 murder of his wife, Barbara, and later the same year, he was killed by his daughter's fiancé, who was reportedly acting in retaliation for Stiles's abusive behavior. This tragic ending to his life reflected the darker side of his story, with his notoriety tied to both his physical condition and his violent actions. Despite his criminal history, Stiles remains an enduring figure in the history of the American sideshow. His life was featured in various media, including documentaries and books, which reflected the complex nature of his story, one that combined the fascination with human oddities and the darker, often violent elements of his personal life. Annie Jones, born in 1865 in Virginia, became known as the Bearded Lady due to her condition of hirsutism, which caused excessive facial hair growth. This condition was likely due to hormonal imbalances, and by the age of 5 she had developed a full beard. She was discovered by the famous showman P.T. Barnum and joined his circus at a young age, where she gained attention for her unique appearance. Over time, she became one of the most popular attractions in Barnum's sideshow. Jones's performances featured her full beard, and she was portrayed as a novelty act in the circus. She was well known for her singing abilities and used this skill during her performances, distinguishing herself from other sideshow acts. As part of Barnum's circus, she toured throughout the United States and Europe, making appearances in major cities. Her image was widely used in promotional material, and she became one of the most recognizable figures in the circus sideshow industry. After her time with Barnum, Annie Jones continued to perform in various smaller circuses and sideshows. However, her later years were marked by financial struggles. Despite the challenges, she maintained her reputation as one of the most successful bearded lady acts in the history of the sideshow world. She died in 1902 from tuberculosis at the age of 37, ending a career that had made her a notable figure in the entertainment industry. Jones's legacy as a sideshow performer is often cited as an example of a woman who used her physical condition to gain fame and success in the public eye, representing one of the most popular acts in circus history during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Charles Stratton, famously known as General Tom Thumb, was born on January 4, 1838 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He exhibited normal growth for his first 6 months, but then stopped growing due to a form of proportionate dwarfism. By adulthood, he stood at approximately 3 feet 4 inches tall. At the age of 4, Stratton was discovered by showman P.T. Barnum. Barnum trained Stratton and introduced him to audiences as General Tom Thumb, crafting a persona that included singing, dancing, and comedic performances. Stratton became one of the earliest international celebrities, performing for royalty such as Queen Victoria and Tsar Nicholas I. His tours across the United States and Europe brought him fame and financial success. In 1863, Stratton married Lavinia Warren, another performer with dwarfism, in a highly publicized ceremony attended by thousands. The couple continued to perform together, enhancing their popularity. Later in life, Stratton expanded his ventures, including investments in real estate. Despite his wealth, he continued performing with Barnum's traveling shows. Stratton was widely regarded as one of the most successful and highest-paid performers of his time. Charles Stratton died unexpectedly of a stroke on July 15, 1883, at the age of 40-5. He was buried in Bridgeport, Connecticut. His legacy endures as one of the first entertainers to achieve worldwide fame in the modern era of popular culture. Daisy and Violet Hilton, conjoined twins born in Brighton, England on February 5, 1908, were connected at the hip and shared blood circulation but had separate organs. Their mother, Kate Skinner, a single barmaid, was pressured to give them up shortly after their birth. They were taken in by Mary Hilton, who exploited the twins, displaying them in sideshows and fairs for profit. Under Mary Hilton's care, the twins were heavily controlled and subjected to rigorous training in entertainment skills, such as singing, dancing, and playing musical instruments. After Hilton's death, her daughter and son-in-law, Edith and Meyer Myers, took over their guardianship. The Myers continued to exploit the twins, taking all their earnings and restricting their freedom. The twins gained significant fame in the 1920s and 1930s, performing in vaudeville shows across the U.S. and Europe. They were featured in major productions and gained attention as talented entertainers. In 1931, they appeared in the controversial film Freaks, which further increased their notoriety. However, they eventually rebelled against their guardians, filing a lawsuit in 1931, and were granted independence along with $100,000 in damages. After gaining independence, Daisy and Violet struggled to manage their careers. They attempted various ventures, including starring in the film Chained for Life in 1951, which was loosely based on their lives, but the ventures were not successful. Their fame declined as the entertainment industry evolved and public interest waned. Financial difficulties forced the twins into low-paying jobs, including working at a grocery store in Charlotte, North Carolina in their later years. They lived modestly and largely out of the public eye. In 1969, both twins died of the Hong Kong flu, with Daisy passing first and Violet succumbing a few days later due to their shared circulation. The lives of Daisy and Violet Hilton highlight the challenges faced by individuals in sideshow entertainment during the 20th century. Their story remains a notable example of resilience amid exploitation and the struggle for autonomy.